Maybe you've done this more times than you've actually prayed. You rehearse it before you pray. Not out loud. Inside. You run through what you're going to say, how you're going to frame it, how to explain the situation in a way that makes sense, how to account for the choices you made, how to present the need without sounding like you're asking for something you don't deserve. And sometimes the rehearsal takes so long that you never actually get to the prayer. You meant to pray this morning, but you needed to think through what you were going to say first. And the thinking became its own loop. And by the time you had it organized enough, the moment had passed. And you told yourself you'd come back to it later. You didn't. And this isn't the first time. There's something in you that believes God needs the context before he can receive you. That he needs to understand the full picture. The why behind the request, the history behind the need, the explanation for why you are where you are, before he can really hear what you're asking. And so you prepare. The same way you'd prepare for a difficult conversation with someone who might judge you. The same way you'd organize your thoughts before speaking to someone with authority over your situation. As if God is waiting for you to make your case. As if access depends on the quality of the explanation. And the preparation that was supposed to help you get to God has become the thing keeping you from him. You are ready to pray. You're just not ready to explain. And the distance grows. Not because God moved, because you're still rehearsing. Here's what the rehearsal is really about. It's not about helping God understand. It's about arriving in a way that feels acceptable. Because somewhere underneath the preparation is a fear that if you show up as you actually are, unorganized, mid-mess, without a clean narrative for how you got here, the reception will be different. That God will be more available to the version of you that has it together. That the coherent, articulate version of you has better access than the confused, still in it, don't even know what to ask version. So you try to resolve enough of the mess to arrive in a state that feels worthy of being heard. And the problem isn't the trying. The problem is what it assumes about God. That there is a version of you he receives more readily. That the door opens wider for the prepared than for the desperate. That belief has been keeping you at a distance from the one place where preparation was never required. Here's what's true about almost every significant encounter with God in Scripture. Nobody arrived prepared. Moses was tending sheep when the bush burned. He didn't have a speech ready. He had objections. He had a stutter. He had a past he hadn't resolved. And God called him anyway. Not after Moses got himself together. From the middle of the ordinary, unresolved, unexplained moment he was already in. Isaiah saw God in the temple, and the first thing he said was, "Woe to me, I am ruined. A man of unclean lips among a people of unclean lips." Not a prepared statement. A confession of complete inadequacy. And the response was not, "Come back when you've cleaned that up." The response was immediate. A coal from the altar. Your guilt is taken away. Before Isaiah could explain. Before he could justify. Before he could organize his thoughts into something presentable. The encounter didn't wait for the preparation. The preparation wasn't the price of entry. And the prodigal son, who spent the whole walk home rehearsing what he was going to say, didn't even finish his speech. The father ran before he got close enough to speak. The reception happened before the explanation arrived. That's not a coincidence. That's the character of the God you've been preparing to approach. What if the explanation was never the requirement? What if the only thing standing between you and the prayer you've been meaning to pray is the belief that you need to earn the approach? Because here's what access to God is actually based on. Not the quality of your explanation. Not the coherence of your narrative. Not whether you've resolved enough of the mess to arrive in an acceptable state. Access is based on one thing, that he already knows. Everything you were planning to explain, he already knows. The history behind the need. The choices that led here. The parts of a story you weren't sure how to present. He was there for all of it. Already present for every moment you're now try to summarize. Which means the explanation you've been rehearsing isn't filling in information he's missing. It's a ritual you perform for yourself. A way of feeling like you've done something to deserve the conversation. You can come mid-sentence, mid-mess, mid-rehearsal. You can stop preparing and just arrive. And he will already be there. Think about the difference between two kinds of relationships. The first is the kind where you manage yourself before every interaction. Where you think through what you're going to say. Where you present a version of yourself that's been edited for the other person's comfort. where vulnerability is rationed because you're not entirely sure it's safe. That relationship has a ceiling. It can only go as deep as the most curated version of you is willing to go. The second kind is the one where you show up as you actually are. Mid-thought, mid-feeling, without having organized it first, and the other person receives it. Not because you performed it well, because the relationship is the kind where the performance was never required. That kind of relationship has no ceiling, because there's nothing left to protect, nothing that needs to be managed before entry. The depth is limited only by how much you're willing to bring. What you have with God was always designed to be the second kind, not the relationship where you manage yourself into an acceptable state before you knock. The one where the door opens before you finish deciding whether to knock. The one where what you bring, however unfinished, however unresolved, however hard to explain, is exactly what the relationship was built to receive. And every time you rehearsed instead of prayed, you were treating the second kind of relationship like the first. You were managing your way towards someone who never needed you to manage, who was always just waiting for you to come. In Romans 8, Paul writes something that should stop the rehearsal completely. The Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Read that again. Too deep for words. Not too shallow for words. Not requiring better words. Too deep for them. There are moments, Paul is saying this explicitly, when what you carry into prayer is beyond language, beyond explanation, beyond anything that could be organized into a coherent presentation. And in exactly those moments, something steps in, not to judge the inadequacy of what you brought, to carry it further than words could go, which means the prayer you were waiting to have the right words for. God already has access to what's underneath the words, the groaning, the weight, the thing you couldn't figure out how to say. He receives that, not reluctantly, not as a lesser version of what prayer is supposed to be, as the most honest form of it. And the Spirit who intercedes with groanings too deep for words isn't doing it because you failed to prepare. He's doing it because the depth of what you carry was never going to fit inside an explanation anyway. The preparation was always going to be inadequate, not because you're inadequate, because what you carry is too real for a rehearsed version of it to represent. And God wanted the real version. He always has. So here's what I want you to hear. You don't have to finish the rehearsal before you pray. You don't have to get the narrative straight. You don't have to resolve enough of the mess to arrive in a state that feels acceptable. You can come right now, mid-preparation, mid-confusion, mid-not knowing what you even want to say. You can open your mouth, or not even that, and bring the weight of everything you've been getting ready to explain. And He will receive it, not because you presented it well, because He already knows it. Every part of the story you were trying to organize, He was there. Every piece of the history you were figuring out how to frame, He saw it. Every moment of the mess you were trying to make presentable, He was in it with you. The explanation was never for Him. It was always for you. A way of feeling like you'd done enough to deserve the approach. And you don't have to earn it. You never had to earn it. The access was never based on the quality of what you brought. It was based on who He is. And who He is doesn't change based on how organized your prayer is. The door doesn't open wider for the prepared. It's already open. It has been open the whole time you were getting ready to come. So stop preparing and come right now, exactly as you are, with the half-formed thought and the unresolved feeling and the thing you don't even have words for yet. Bring all of it. Before you go, I want you to do one thing. Type these words in the comments. I'm coming as I am, not as a declaration that you have it together, as a decision to stop waiting until you do, because the version of you that shows up mid-mess, that version is the one He's been waiting for, not the prepared one, the real one. And the real one is always enough.